Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage at the edge of a great big forest, lived a mother pig with her 3 little sons. As they grew bigger and bigger, the cottage started to feel a bit too small for all of them. One sunny morning, Mother Pig gathered her sons and said, "My dear little pigs, you are all grown up now. It's time for you to go out into the world and build your own homes. But remember, whatever you do, do it the very best you can. That is the way to get along in the world. And always, always watch out for the big bad wolf." The 3 little pigs kissed their mother goodbye and set off on their adventure. They walked and they walked, filled with excitement about their new lives. Soon they came to a crossroads. The first little pig, who was a bit lazy and always looked for the easiest way to do things, saw a farmer pulling a cart full of straw. "That's it," he squealed. "Building a house out of straw will be quick and easy. Then I'll have plenty of time to play." He asked the farmer for some straw, and in no time at all, he had built a cute little house. He was very proud of himself and sang, "I built my house of straw, I built my house of hay. I toot my flute, I don't give a hoot, and play around all day." The other 2 pigs shook their heads. They knew a straw house wasn't very strong. They continued down the road until they met a man with a bundle of sticks. The second little pig, who was also a bit lazy but not quite as much as his brother, thought sticks are stronger than straw, and it still won't take too long to build. I'll be done in time to play this afternoon. He bought the sticks and built his house. It looked sturdier than the straw house, and he was quite pleased. He danced a jig and sang a little song about how clever he was to build a house of sticks. Now, the third little pig was different. He remembered his mother's words. Whatever you do, do it the very best you can. He knew that a house of straw or sticks wouldn't be safe from the big bad wolf. He walked further down the road until he saw a man with a heavy cart full of strong red bricks. "This is perfect," he thought. "A brick house will be strong and safe. It will take a lot of hard work, but it will be worth it." So he bought the bricks and got to work. He worked all day long, carefully laying each brick with mortar. It was hard, tiring work, but he didn't stop until his house was finished. It was a fine, sturdy little house, with a strong wooden door, a chimney, and a big fireplace inside. He felt very safe and secure. The next day, as the first little pig was playing his flute, a shadow fell over his straw house. It was the big bad wolf, and he had a very hungry look in his eyes. Little pig, let me come in," he growled. The little pig squealed in terror, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." The wolf grinned a wicked grin. "Then I'll huff, and I'll blow your house in auntie." Took a deep breath and huffed, and he puffed, and he blew the straw house all to pieces. The first little pig ran as fast as his little legs could carry him, straight to his brother's house of sticks. He burst through the door, shouting, "The wolf is coming." No sooner had he slammed the door shut than there was a knock. Little pigs, let me come in, snarled the wolf from outside, not by the hair of our chinny chins. They both cried. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in. The wolf roared. He huffed and he puffed, and the stick house began to creak and wobble. He huffed and he puffed again, and the whole house came crashing down. The two terrified little pigs scrambled out of the wreckage and ran for their lives. They didn't stop until they reached their brother's sturdy brick house. They banged on the door, and the third little pig let them in, locking the strong door securely behind them. They were all trembling with fear. A moment later, the big bad wolf, now very angry, arrived at the brick house. Little pigs, let me come in," he bellowed. "Not by the hair of our chinny chins." They all shouted back from inside. The wolf was furious. "Then I'll huff and I'll blow your house in," he screamed. He huffed and he puffed. Nothing happened. He huffed again and he puffed with all his might. The brick house didn't even shake. He huffed and puffed until he was completely out of breath, but the house stood strong. The wolf was exhausted, but he was also clever. He decided to try and trick the little pigs. "Little pig," he said, trying to sound friendly, "I know where there is a nice field of turnips where asked the third little pig in Mr. Smith's field. I'll come for you tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, and we can go together." But the little pig was smarter. He got up at 5 o'clock, went to the field, gathered a basket of turnips, and was safely back home before the wolf arrived. When the wolf came at 6, the pig called out, "I've already been and come back, and I have a lovely pot of turnips for my dinner." The wolf was even angrier, but he didn't give up. "Little pig," he said, "I know where there is a lovely apple tree where ask the pig down at Merry Garden. I'll be there at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning to get some apples." The next morning, the pig got up at 4 o'clock to get the apples. But this time the journey was longer, and the wolf arrived while the little pig was still up in the tree. The pig was frightened, but he thought fast. "These apples are delicious." He called down to the wolf, "Here, have one." And he threw an apple far away. While the wolf was chasing the apple, the little pig jumped down and ran home. The wolf was absolutely raging now. He came to the house and declared, "I'm going to climb down your chimney and eat you all for supper." The 3 little pigs heard him climbing onto the roof. The third little pig, thinking quickly, whispered to his brothers, "Quick, help me." They filled their biggest cooking pot with water and put it on the fire. Just as the wolf started to come down the chimney, the water began to boil. Down he slid right into the pot of boiling water. Splash! That was the end of the big bad wolf. He leaped out of the pot and ran away, howling in pain, and was never seen in that part of the forest again. The first 2 little pigs learned a very important lesson that day. They thanked their clever, hard-working brother for saving their lives. From then on, they all lived together happily and safely in the strong little brick house. And they never forgot their mother's wise words. Whatever you do, do it the very best you can. Thank you so much for joining me for this classic story. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales and adventures. See you next time.